We've hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. It feels like it's taken ages, but realistically it hasn't. It's been like 7 months, 6 or 7 months. We're back today. I've had a week off of content basically, but we're back today and I'm going to do a kind of overhaul of the first 4 years of running my business, hitting 6 figures. I mean, we're well over 6 figures if you look over 4 years, but within the last 12 months, I have I've flown over 6 figures. We're at about 130k, I think, for the last 12 months, which is crazy. I still can't believe that I get to talk about these kinds of statistics for my little business. It's crazy, but I'm going to talk you through kind of a detailed account of like the first 4 years, how each step has gone for me, and kind of how this 6-figure thing even came about, really. It feels kind of like a good time to reintroduce myself. So my name is Jordan. I own WILDRACE, a luxury sustainable candle company based in the UK, and I'm over in Essex. We'll be going 4 years this May, so we're just under 4 years basically at the moment, but I've only been full-time for the last 2 years last month, so it's been a journey. I also suffer with a lot of chronic health conditions, and so I have a lot of struggles and things that have made this maybe a bit more difficult than it should have been. I need to work out what's causing this light on me, because that is going to annoy me. I started in May 2021. I had just moved back from London, where we hadn't been particularly long. We moved there, I was a nanny, lockdown hit. We basically spent our whole time in London in lockdown, and then I went back to being a nanny, and kind of just lockdown had made me realise that I wanted to do something more creative. I'd always been very creative. I love to paint, I love to write, I love to make things, and I'd kind of just realised in lockdown, like, this is not what I don't want to do burnout jobs anymore. And I loved being a nanny, but the hours are super, super long. And if anyone knows, obviously, if you've got your own kids, it's just quite a lot to do when you've got a lot of health conditions. So we moved back from London due to my health. And then I was like, right, I need to do something that's more suitable for my body and the way things work for me. So we moved back in the February, and I started testing candles straight away. I had been gifted a lovely, very expensive candle from my nanny family when we left London, and I was like, I can make these, like I can do that, that's what I'll do. Like, so I started testing, and we finally launched. I launched in the May, so it took me from the February to the May to kind of get everything going and test everything, sort out what branding I wanted to go with, and all of that kind of thing. But I will say, looking back, it was very rushed and the decisions were very bad, and I don't know what I was doing, but you know, hindsight is a lovely thing. I launched with 5 candles to start with, and they were called, I had lavender, I had mango morning, I had vanilla sunrise, what was the other one? The lavender was called Lavender Fields. I had Barefoot Bluebells, and I had something else that I can't even remember what the other candle was. So I launched with, Ocean Drift. I had those 5 candles, and I had them in a plain clear Karen glass jar with literally just a label with my logo on it. It was just have my logo on it. If I can input a clip here, I will, because I think I've got pictures of it, because it's so funny. Don't judge me. So we've all got to start from somewhere. So I launched these candles on just Etsy at the start, and I did not have any sales apart from my family and friends who very kindly bought these ugly candles. And I then very quickly hit the Etsy reserve thing, where they basically stop paying any money to your account for, mine was 6 months. I don't know if it's still 6 months. I think they do different timings now for different accounts, but mine was 6 months. So straight away, switched the Etsy off. I was like, I can't be selling stuff if I'm not earning any money back. So I switched it all off and waited for the 6 months to be up. And that is where a big dent of my time of the business comes from, because I say I've been here 4 years, but realistically it was shut down almost straight away and was reopened 6 months later. So in that 6 months I was part-time nannying, and I picked up a part-time nannying job, which I then carried on doing alongside building the business up. So 6 months was up, it was in the autumn, and I reopened the Etsy shop. It was about Halloween time, because I know I launched back with a pumpkin candle. So I don't know if I have any pictures of these, but I will insert if I do. So it was these cool little, it was the same jars, and then I got these pumpkin wax melts and kind of built these pumpkins on top. I did one with gingerbread men on top as well. Was a great idea, didn't post very well. But I remember I launched them on Etsy and I sold 2 to one guy on the first day, and I was like, I've made it, this is amazing. Like, and nothing will ever beat, like, I've done 130k in revenue the past year, but nothing really beats that first like person that buys from you that has no idea who you are. And I was like, this is it, like, this is great. And then I kind of decided that I wanted to change jars because I wasn't very happy with the jars. So I just bought some in, and I'd booked into my first market in the December in my local village, which is actually where we ended up getting married last summer. But so I'd booked in this market and I was like, I'll trial some of the new jars, which were actually amber jars. But I took like a mixture of the old stuff, the new stuff, to kind of see like what would go well. And I had a friend at the time work on some new labels for these new amber jars, and we actually also put those on the old jars just to see if it made a difference. So the difference was these new labels were coloured. I went to this market and I took £450 over 2 days, and I was like, like, I've done it, like, this is great, I can do this, like, this can be a business, this is amazing, I've just got to go to loads of markets and blah, 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 blah. But health always has another trick up its sleeve in my case. I mean, every time something goes really, really well, something will happen with my health and it knocks me back down. So my health was getting progressively worse, and in the January, I had something really, really quite bad happen with my health, and everything was escalated, and I was scheduled in for surgery for, I don't know if I knew at the time, but it ended up being in the April. But I was like, that's it, I'm going to close the business down. Like, I can't obviously juggle this. Like, we've just had a big high, but like, it's just not going to work realistically for me with my health. So I was like, let's just close the business down. And Josh, my husband, was like, let's just give it like one more go. And because I'd found this new idea that I wanted to do, and I didn't really have enough money to put into it. And saying that now is crazy. Like, all I needed was £70, and I didn't believe in myself enough to put £70 towards this new idea. So Josh loaned me the £70 in the January, and I went with this new idea, and it went really well. So I launched these new labels, which was my green labels, which I then had for like till like last summer in 2024. So I had them for a very long time after that. And suddenly people were buying my stuff and people wanted it, and it was on Etsy, and it, like, I had one specific scent that started picking up and everything was starting to go really well. And then I was like, right, I'm gonna do, and here is where it's very important, I'm very honest with you, because I then launched what was my favourite thing I'd ever done, which was the biggest mistake probably of the whole business, because it didn't sell very well, and I pushed it for way too long. I only discontinued it last year, and that was my Zodiac collection. So I'd made up a bit of money from these Etsy sales, and I paid a designer who is still my very lovely designer to design these Zodiac labels. I actually have some here. So I had her design these. These are actually some ones that I've got damage on, so that's why they never sold in the sale. But so you've got the Aries candle, and I had written up all these descriptions that I'd done based on like research and stuff of the signs. And so all of the Zodiac candles had like their own personalized stuff on, and they were their own colors. And I was like, this is gonna make me, this is my product, this is gonna take me to the top where I need to be. Well, surprise, surprise, it didn't. It was by far the worst product I've ever put out there. They sold really well at Christmas markets and stuff over the years, but Never really sold online at all. I kind of still to this day don't know if it's the tins or don't know if it's the labels, because when I asked for feedback from the customers, most of them said it was because of the tins and they don't like the tinned candles. But then a few of them said that they sometimes would, so they all have their own scents, and sometimes they said they loved their design and stuff but didn't like the scent that was with their zodiac sign. So anyway, that was that. I launched those. And then I went in for my surgery. So I had my surgery in the April, which was really successful, and I was feeling very refreshed, very renewed, and I was like, right, this is it now, I'm going to smash this business. And I'm still working part-time as a nanny at this point, and I also have picked up, because things are financially pretty tough, and we were saving for our house, our first house, so I also picked up a second part-time job. So I was working 2 part-time jobs, but they weren't like, I was working like 15 hours a week at one and like 8 hours a week at the other. So it was still like under part-time hours. And then building the business in the time around that. So this went on, just ticking on. Nothing else really happened for that year. We ticked on with very, very occasional Zodiac sales. I was going to as many markets as I possibly could to kind of work out which ones were going to work and which ones weren't going to work. And then we come into the autumn, which is candle season, obviously. And I'd launched my website by this point, and I was trying to get as many people to come to my website as possible, but people don't really come to your website at the start. It's loads of hindsight, but I wasn't making it work for me at that point. So it was basically just Etsy that was carrying my business. So we go through that autumn, winter was kind of all right, wasn't doing anything big, wasn't anything groundbreaking. But in the January, I decided to go full time. So I was earning enough just to pay our bills. And so I dropped my job. I'd already lost my job as a nanny a few months before because the kids had started school. I wasn't needed as a nanny anymore. So I'd already lost that position. And then I left my other position in the January because I'd kind of recognised that I needed to go full in for this to actually make it. So I took the risk before I would ever tell anyone to take the risk. But I think because I had health issues, there was so much like going on, and it was kind of like I needed to go all or nothing because I didn't have enough time or energy to kind of juggle the two. So went full time that January. We were still living at my mum's and we were saving to move out. We actually then bought a house in that January, which was probably not very smart. And that is the house we're in now. So we bought the house, we moved in, I joined Amazon, and I had literally one product on Amazon for the whole first year that I was on Amazon. But I joined Amazon, we moved into the house, and I was terrified. The sales were like not doing what they needed to do. There was no more growth, like everything has slowed down. My health was really, really bad again. I was being potentially put in for a second surgery, which then didn't come until actually just October just gone. But I was being put in for another surgery and everything was getting a bit rubbish again. And we were just like, let's just make this work. We had no money. I remember the real low point was I went to do the food shop and my card was rejected, and I was like, this is bad. Like I need to get another job. Like I can't carry on like this. But the problem is with my health, I'm so unreliable that I cannot really work another job. There's no option for me. So I was like, right, I need to like knuckle down. I need to make this work. So I was going to like every market that I could just to make any like money that I could, which I always do. I always like pick up at least like £200 or £300 profit at a market, but it's a lot for my body, like doing a market. So I was doing as many of those as I could. I was pushing Etsy everywhere. I was launching new products, trying to make something click like the original like Star Seller product had. And obviously the website was going as well. And then that autumn, I was booked into a quite large market in the area. I think they were relatively new at it. And we arrived, it was a 3-day market. We arrived, this would have been like the November, I think. And not long after we arrived, they shut down the whole 3-day event. Basically, it was really, really poorly planned by the organisers, and the car park was not working with the weather and things like that. So they shut the whole 3-day event, right? So I went on my Instagram, where at the time I probably had like 3,000 followers or something, and I made a post. Basically begging people to help me, because I had made £8,000 worth of stock for this 3-day event that was then cancelled. And the post, like, all of my followers were like sharing it to their followers, and everybody was buying and supporting, and it was like, I was crying. Like, I posted this post and I went to bed because I was so upset. I didn't even want to be awake. I was like, I struggle with a lot of mental health issues, and something like this, like, that felt so detrimental when we didn't have a lot of money at the time, was very, very scary. And I woke up in the morning to so many orders, and I ended up taking, I'm pretty sure that over that weekend, I took something like £8,000 or £9,000 over like a 3-day period, where I ran this sale on the website to try and get people to support me. So I did like 20% off or 30% off, I can't remember. And it had kind of gone, like, somebody shared it, then someone else saw it, shared it. Like, and I wouldn't say it went viral, but it went relatively far, and people were supporting me, and I was so emotional. And then I was trying to like keep up, and what that did was, I feel like that created a whole new like range of customers who have supported me ever since then as well. Because when you do reach like a wide new audience like that, you do get a lot of them come back and they support you, but as long as your product's good, which I always have had faith in the product. So a lot of those became my like long-term customers that I still have now. And that Christmas then went really well, because that kind of boosted the algorithms, and so my website did a bit better, Etsy did a bit better, Amazon was ticking along doing quite well. I mean, I was only selling like 50 units a month back then on Amazon, because I only had one candle on there. So I'd been working on new products alongside all of this, and in the February of 2024, I launched 5 new products, but 2 of which were incredible sellers, and I added these onto Amazon straight away. I also joined TikTok Shop, and one of them went kind of semi-viral on TikTok as well, and got quite a lot of sales within the first like 2 weeks. It actually sold me out twice of one of the candles, which is funny enough not even the best-selling candle now, but at the time that one sold out twice. And yeah, those products, and joining Amazon with 2 more products, it just made all the difference. And I was selling them on my website like crazy, selling them on Etsy like crazy, selling them on like Amazon like crazy. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And this is literally like a year ago. This is a year ago. And obviously I was earning enough money at this point. I'd been earning enough money for a year to pay the bills, but we were very, very tight. We didn't have much money at all. And actually this time last year, Josh was in the process of changing jobs, and it was just a very scary time for us. But the business was kind of picking up. Josh was putting in all his spare time to kind of try and help me do this. And I was working on so many new ideas. I was working on my gift sets. I was working on new candles still. And I was like, it just felt like if I didn't push this, I was like not going to make it in this world, because I felt like, and I still back up to this day, like I cannot work another job. Like I can't. So I think there is so much extra pressure on me that I put on myself to make this work, because there is no other option for me. So I think when things have got tough, if I had another job to go to, I probably would have. But because I knew there's an aeroplane, because I knew that I couldn't do anything else, I think that's always what's given me a lot of extra like motivation and drive, because it feels like I have no other option. So that went crazy with the new products. The whole rest of the year I launched a gift set that then did really well, and I went into the autumn doing, oh wait, no, hold the phone, I've missed a very large section there. So last spring, just after I'd launched those new candles, Amazon decided to put my account on hold, which is what I've posted. I did a video like a few videos ago. If you are thinking about joining Amazon, I suggest you go and watch it. It's called How Amazon Scammed Me. Amazon essentially told me that I needed to, I don't want to tell you the whole thing because I've got a video on it, but they essentially told me I needed to verify who I was. I was sending them passports, driving license, everything that I needed to send them, and essentially they were saying like, nah, we can't prove that's you. So I eventually, 4 months after this began, and they were holding my money the whole time. So I didn't get paid from last February when I launched the new products from Amazon through till May. So it missed my tax end of year books, which was a nightmare. And it was just awful. Like, we had no money coming in, and I posted on the Instagram again, and I managed to rack in like quite a few sales from posting on the Instagram, which by that point had maybe like, I don't know, 4,000 followers, and managed to like save my absolute arse because I was about to have to like sell everything, like all my materials and my wax boiler. Like, we had no money, and Josh was between jobs, so it was very scary. And luckily, people pulled through and saved me, and then Amazon finally paid me in May when I uploaded a blank piece of paper, because they said, if you upload a blank piece of paper, we'll put it through. So after 4 months of them holding my money, I received like 6,000-7,000 all in one go, which was crazy. But then after that, it's kind of been okay. But Amazon are always throwing new problems, so just beware. Like, I find them very, very scary, and I do not like that they control a lot of my business percentage of money and all that. So that happened, and then ticking on by all year, doing quite well. I mean, looking back, obviously I did very well. I mean, it doesn't feel it compared to now, but like last May we had 253 orders, June 235, July 254, August 230, September 507, October 614, November 1,253, and December 1,710, which was crazy. But now if you look at this January and February, I had 402 in January compared to last January I had 75. And in February, I had 529 in comparison to last February, I had 163. So you can see like how much growth I've had just in the past year. But obviously I've always been making decisions that impact the business the whole time. And I've been making very clever, very quick decisions on what makes money and what doesn't. Except for my Zodiac collection, which I literally just discontinued this autumn or something, because it was time to let it go. And I had a lot of people say as well that they didn't feel like it fitted with the brand, which was breaking my heart, but that was that. So yeah, so the last 12 months we've taken about 130k. I think the year before we took about 80, something like that, and the year before we probably took like 35. So it's definitely been like the last 2 years. When I took the leap to go full time is when I had the energy to put into it. Well, maybe not the energy, but I had the time, and I just had more to give to it. And last October I ended up having my second surgery, and it was absolutely horrendous. Like, and I managed to pull through this autumn and winter, the busiest season of the year, obviously for candles, with having surgery. I then had a really, really bad reaction to the surgery. I had literally from the chin down, I had a full body allergic reaction to, they're not sure if it was the iodine or something that they cleaned me with for the surgery. It was probably by far the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. And this is coming from someone who has been sick since I was 16 and in and out of surgery since 16. So it was a very, very difficult few months. And the fact that I still managed to pull through and have such a good candle season is partially due to the fact that I've got a very lovely husband who has helped an enormous amount in that season. He also happened to have 2 weeks off, like in peak November time, which was very handy. And I've just pushed through. And I think the main thing like to take away from this is like I have had everything against me, and I don't mean to like be like a pity party here or anything, but everything has been against me. Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, and I have still persevered and pushed, and obviously relied on the support of people when I've had surgeries and things, but mainly I have been able to move quickly, create new ideas, and just, I think, throw everything in. And I think when you don't see another option for yourself, it is very difficult to quit. I do see it in a lot of friends, and like I know a lot of people in business, obviously, and it's a lot easier to quit and to think of quitting when you have other options available. So for me, obviously, there wasn't other options, but also I cut those options away. Like I left my part-time jobs and I went full in on this, and it's been a very scary 4 years, but here I am, and I'm running a 6-figure business, and you know, I'm hiring part-time people here and there. I'm making enough money that we're about to go and put the house on the market and try and get somewhere bigger, because this room is not enough to run a 6-figure candle business. I'm impressed with myself, really. I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm impressed with myself. I'm amazed that I've managed to do this, considering like 8 or 9 years ago, I was told that I probably wasn't going to walk again. And I was told that I wasn't going to be able to do so many things that I'm doing right now. And, you know, I was 18. When I was 18, I was told I would never have kids. I was told I would probably not really walk properly again. I was told I probably wouldn't get out of bed again, because I was bedbound for nearly 2 years, essentially, apart from people helping me get downstairs to watch TV and bring me back upstairs. I had to be bathed, I had to be showered. Like, I was really not very well. I don't really speak about that a lot on the account, but I was in a very, very bad way, and I was told that pretty much I was going to be that way for the rest of my life. And here I am. I don't want to get emotional on this account, but here I am, and I'm walking and I'm moving, and things are tough and things are hard, but they have probably made me who I am now, which is this person who is strong enough and resilient enough to run a business, because it's a hard place to run a business in the UK, and yeah, it's crazy. And we just hit VAT in December, which is just a whole nother hurdle, but we talk about that enough in the other videos, so we won't do that today. So I really hope this has been interesting for you, and if you're new here, please give me a follow. It's not called a follow on here. Please give me a little subscribe and a like. Introduce yourself in the comments if you're new, and yeah, let me know what you guys are up to. It's been a crazy journey, and even like the YouTube journey, I came on here, well, technically my first video was like a year ago, but I properly started posting in August, and yeah, I've just been monetized, so that's kind of cool. And I always want to be authentic on here, tell you like everything that's going on, show you my journey, show you like everything that's happening, and teach you guys like the things that I've learned. And yeah, I feel kind of weird, because it's crazy each year to look back on how much growth there has been. And I think hitting this milestone on YouTube, not that it's even like a big milestone to other people, but to me, like 1,000 people that are interested in what I'm doing enough to watch on YouTube. You know, it's long form content. You're not just people scrolling by. I think that's pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with that. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.